Hello and welcome, everyone. I hope everyone had a good holiday.
That was a pretty rocking intro there, Pete.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I hope you guys like the new intro. It's
I have to go to like a headbangers ball now.
I would have thought you had to do that anyway, but cool. No, I'm glad. We felt like it was time for a change.
Gonna make a change.
Exactly. I mean, as much as I loved the old intro, I'm glad to have something a bit more upbeat, and it's a bit shorter, so there's more time to listen to our lovely voices.
Thank God for that.
There is. There's my fourth was good. There is something I would like to say as to why we didn't have What's Up Wednesday this week.
Okay.
It's because dragons invaded our studio while we were recording last week.
I forgot about that. I drank so much on the 4th of July. I forgot about the dragons.
The dragons came into the studio and they burnt it down. And somebody's peeing out of the window now.
Is that really happening right now?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're actually not in our standard
shit.
booth tonight. We decided because of the oppressive heat of July, we're actually in Drew's humble abode. He was kind enough to have us here.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Right, so here we are. It's Movie Monday. This week we decided to all see This Is the End. This Is the End was directed by Evan Goldberg, Seth Rogen, also the writers, consequently. And it follows the story of James Franco, Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel, all playing themselves while the apocalypse unfolds while they're at a party, and then the comedy that ensues therein. That's really all I have to say about the actual synopsis.
There's really not like... You can basically say these funny actors who play themselves in the Rapture.
Right.
It's kind of like, what is it? What's that movie that came out like 10, 15 years ago? Left Behind. It's like,
right,
it's like
but
Left
without
Behind.
the whole Christian angle. Well, actually, kind of, but we'll get into that. So we'll just talk about the general descriptor of the movie. I mean, that's the general synopsis. I suppose to kind of recommend it, not recommend it. I mean, definitely if you're into that sort of Judd Apatow bastardized, like,
That whole
offshoot crew.
That whole crew. If you like those guys, you're gonna like this movie.
Right. Really, I mean, I when I went to it, I was like, how self-indulgent is this going to be? And the answer is extremely. But I feel like they still pulled it off. It's enough.
Yeah.
They're unapologetic about it, so it kind of works.
When I saw that this movie was even coming out, at first I was like, "Oh my God!" It's like all my favorite people. I was like, "Oh my God!" They're all playing themselves. How's that going to play out? But like I said, I think it worked out.
I think it worked
well.
fine.
Yeah, I think that it was fine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're looking for like one of their more structured sort of comedies where there's character development and stuff like that,
It's very little.
Very
It's not
little.
happening.
really, yeah. I mean, to put in perspective, like the way I look at it, it's like the movies have slowly gotten more and more off the rails. Like even like Superbad had like still like a plot running through. We were trying to we're rooting for these guys the whole way, hoping they'll get the girls. Then Pineapple Express got a lot darker. At the end, it was still about two friends and kind of how their relationship is affected by all these tumultuous events. And then this one, it's really there's no development at all. This is you're literally just watching them be themselves and talk about cum and stuff.
Poking fun of everybody
while the apocalypse is happening.
I think it was a great way for them to just kind of do something on their own.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I was talking to about Drew earlier, as far as like structure goes, I think that all of them together could have written a much more funnier, more motivated piece for all of them playing themselves. But I mean, overall, the movie was a real blast to watch.
I was laughing through a lot of it. So
yeah,
it wasn't
I mean,
like I was like groaning at anything. Really.
Yeah, it's not like it was just like the movie. This I can't believe. But when you see all these guys and where they came from, I don't know. Did you ever watch Freaks and Geeks?
Yes, I did. Yeah, that's like where the whole crew kind of assembled.
Yeah,
also Apatow.
Yeah, that was Apatow too. Right?
Yeah. Like you realize that these people have been together for so long that that they know so much about each other that I think that they could have written a funnier, more motivated piece. But overall, I still thought it was a really fun watch.
Yeah, and I think we kind of knew that it was going to be that going in. Otherwise, the trailer pretty much spelled out what it was going to be. It was going to be kind of silly. It really didn't give any plot line.
You don't go into it.
Really have.
You don't go into it thinking it's going to be like an Oscar-nominated film.
No,
I'm
but
gonna
no,
laugh,
of course not.
And I'm gonna
right.
And anything else is a bonus.
And the fact that Seth Rogen was in it, I mean, I'm glad it was. My biggest fear going into it was just going to be like pot humor for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. So that
How
was
long
kind
was
of
it?
refreshing.
What was
it? It was
ran an hour 47, I believe.
98 minutes. Yeah.
98. Yeah.
How did you guys? What was I gonna say? How did you guys feel about the length? I felt like it was just a little too long.
I feel like all of the Apatow kind of offshoot movies are always just a little too long.
Really?
Dragged out a little bit in the middle.
Like, especially what was Knocked Up. Like, that was when I was like, why is this still going on? Funny People was 2 movies in one.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
what
like
I
it's
heard.
It's a common habit of the guy.
Never seen
which is fine.
Funny
I mean,
People.
he makes it watchable throughout. It's like, but it does start to drag a little bit. Definitely something. I think it would be fun to see in a group in theaters. I saw it alone.
I did too.
Yeah.
Saw it in a group. It was great in a group.
Yeah. It seems like I think it'd be
Good group film, guys.
Yeah.
See, Drew has friends.
Right.
Pete.
I wonder what that's like.
I've always wondered.
No, definitely a movie I'd recommend if you're going in a big group, fun in the summer, get out of the heat for a while.
Have a few beers before you go.
Definitely,
makes
make
it even
sure.
better.
Yeah, it's like going to a comedy show.
Yeah,
Make sure
exactly.
a little liquor in you is going to make you a little happier. We're going to take one quick break, and then we're going to kind of dissect what we thought about little bits and pieces of the movie. It's a comedy, so it's hard to say that there's any weight or gravitas to the spoilers, but we're going to hold them till after the break. We'll be right back. This is Movie Monday. Welcome back. We're here on Movie Monday. We're talking about This Is the End. Woohoo! So we were saying for the most part we all enjoyed the film. One movie that it kind of reminded me of, and not in content so much, but in ending giving me douche chills, was do you guys remember the film Rat Race?
Yes.
Love
Really
Rat Race.
fun movie, and then the end is just like the
Smash
fat kid
Mouth.
being like, "It's Smash Mouth," and then they play like All Star, and that's the end of the film.
Yeah.
And we all it kind of had that ending. I was that was the only part where I was like,
Yeah, they didn't really know how to put a cap on that.
right, yeah, you could tell like the heaven sequence thing was like so rushed. It's
What's
like,
the
oh, and then we
craziest
end the
thing we
film.
could do?
Yeah.
Let's
Go to
bring in
heaven,
the
guys.
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
they actually bring them in. I guess it's like Smash Mouth was relevant when they made Rat Race, like, and Backstreet Boys. It's like, oh shit, they
They're
actually
trying to become
reassembled
relevant
them.
again.
Yeah, are they actually like reassembled?
I think they are trying to do something, of
Right.
Some kind. Like I think they're doing a tour or something. Like New Kids on the Block are doing another tour.
Yeah, I do appreciate that their willingness to like get dark with their humor. Like it's like you have people getting fucked by demons and stuff like that.
Craig, stop it.
Yeah, I mean,
And you just see the big dick shadow.
yeah, and I love like the random character choices they make. Like that Jonah Hill is like really nice to Jay in the entire movie for some reason, even though they like hate each other. And then he wishes for him to die. It kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, it kind of reminded me of like something like Tenacious D movie. Did you guys ever see The Pick of Destiny?
Pick a Destiny.
I mean, I liked it. I don't know. Like, it reminds me of that offbeat kind of weird, eccentric humor.
Mhm.
But, it's just like with characters I like more. Because, like, James Franco is just fucking weird in his own right.
Right.
Well, I love when people play themselves and they make themselves look like fucking assholes.
Right.
Just like the Michael Cera whole thing.
Right. He's like a coke fiend.
Like he fucking like
Craig
was
T. Robinson, like
grabbing Rihanna's ass. And
yeah,
getting
he was,
slapped in the
at one
face.
point he's getting his like ass eaten out and his like dick sucked in the bathroom while drinking a Capri Sun. I do like the angles like that where they just go
Yeah.
for total absurdity.
Or Channing Tatum dressed up as the Gimp.
Yeah, I
like
think that was my
I
favorite
thought that was
cameo.
really funny.
Because you could tell the movie was kind of drawing to a close, and they kind of threw him in as. I mean, Danny McBride was awesome, and also kind of the bad guy, which I thought was like a good choice. Yeah, I like how they threw that in there. The reason I was kind of drawing it back to Tenacious D, though, it was kind of like the inverse. Like this one, I expected kind of like just a silly movie where everyone's dying and like how they're pieces of shit to each other, which it was. But it got really kind of weird and off the rails, and I appreciated that in a film like this. With Tenacious D, I was almost expecting something a little more well thought out and a bit funnier because they had like the music just seemed a bit more calculated, and then it kind of became like what this movie turned out to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's just fuck. Like, you know what it is? It's like I start a thought and I can't fucking finish it today. You know what it is? We're in air conditioning.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
You're welcome.
Thank
Beautiful.
you. I mean, I thought all the characters were great, and like I said, James Franco is an eccentric in his own right, so it just kind of adds to the weirdness. Like he's like a teacher at NYU, and he like writes all these columns.
Doesn't he teach a class about himself?
Yeah,
I've heard that.
I think it's acting on James Franco with James Franco.
Like, is this just like a joke? Is this going to be a documentary by Judd Apatow on that?
I don't know. But he also teaches editing with James Franco on James Franco. So he gets
at NYU.
Yeah, he gets all his movies, and he has like all the students like re-edit his movies back together.
Right. I mean, and we get to see this like group dynamic, and I have a feeling, obviously, like Jonah Hill, I feel like isn't like that. He was playing like a character as himself.
Right. Well, and Jay Baruchel like being a little pussy all the time, and
yeah. See, I wonder how much of that was true. I wonder if like they actually didn't, like when Seth Rogen got really big all of a sudden, I wonder if there actually was the animosity and they were playing on that.
Well, it's like the Dane Cook and Louis C.K. episode of
right, but I wonder how true that was. That's what I wonder, especially if Seth Rogen's the one who wrote it and wrote in all these characters,
Well, can we say that like I said, fucking thought out in the wild again. Like a fucking retard, and I didn't even drink this week.
I mean, I like the idea. I like how it got really phallic towards the end. Like all of a sudden, it's CGI demons everywhere with like huge dicks.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning, it was like very little dick humor. It was just kind of like stupid, kind of cowards and like a moment of crisis sort of humor, and then it evolved into like cum like rants. There's one scene in the movie where it's literally like 3 minutes of Danny McBride debating with James Franco about where he can come while they're like holding up in the house.
Yeah.
Danny McBride is I almost think he's a genius. The reason he was found, I believe, is because he made the Foot Fist Way, and he was just an improv guy. And then Will Ferrell sort of discovered him and cultivated him, or launched him into skyrocketed him into stardom. And now he's kind of into this Apatow clique. But I do love how he always tends to play a character who's like obviously just like a compulsive liar, and also just like totally talks his way out. He's like Cartman basically.
Yeah.
And then the instant that he has the power, he's immediately like ha 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 ha. Like there's a great moment where James Franco they're basically what's the word I'm looking for? Forcing him to leave the house, for lack of a better term.
Kicking him out.
Yeah, into like the apocalypse where they're like demons running everywhere. And
he's like, I'm not. He's like, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving because you told me to. I'm leaving because I want to.
Yeah, like doing that sort of thing. And then James Franco's had a gun the whole movie.
It was filled with blanks.
And he hands it to Danny McBride, and he immediately is just like, yeah, motherfucker. He just like tries to shoot all of them with a gun full of blanks. So they realize that they A, didn't have a gun, but B, that he just would have killed them like in cold blood. So I think he was a great addition to the movie, and as I said, was kind of the bad guy, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, at the end, those last like 15 minutes where he's like, he's with the cannibals. Right. He goes, "We eat everybody," and James Franco's finally like, I saved them. I sacrificed myself. He goes, "Hey, McBride, fuck you, fuck you."
I was really glad because the fact that it was working for James Franco, I'm like, don't tell me that like it's that easy. It's like obviously James Franco was kind of a piece of shit this whole movie.
Yeah, he was. I love the paintings he did. Yeah, Franco Rogan.
There's also another great moment in the film where the two paintings that John is referring to is he just has his name and Seth Rogen's name just written in like paint on the wall, and he's kind of like obsessed with Seth Rogen. He's like, yeah, we go way back. Yeah, he thinks that like they have an alliance.
We're bros.
And they stick together. At one point, they have to like burn down stuff or take down stuff to board up the doors to fight off the demons or fend them off.
Take mine.
And he doesn't want to burn Seth Rogen. So he'd rather burn his own name. So it's loaded with that sort of style of comedy with the friendship, them playing themselves, and how that volleys off each other.
I mean, I keep perseverating on James Franco, but I mean, the guy's really fucking smart, and he's an amazing actor.
Yeah,
and I think I think the one thing about the movie is, these guys have known each other for so long, and I mean, even Baruchel and Rogen in Undeclared.
Undeclared.
It was a great show.
Yeah,
and it's just I felt as if if they were all going to write a movie like this, it just should have been a little more like, it was a little catty. Like I felt they were all like, let's just find a way to let off some steam through a movie, or just like through
an excuse
comedy,
to hang out with each other and have some fun.
Right. And it's amazing
and do some drugs.
I guess it speaks to how funny they are as a group of people. The fact that we all went and saw it. And I had interest in seeing it, even if it wasn't for the podcast. And
yeah, I did too.
Just to see them essentially jerking off on camera,
Yeah,
that'd be like if all of us had Hollywood budget all of a sudden. It's like, how do we make a movie where we play ourselves and, like the apocalypse happens or what have you. They have the benefit of we kind of gotten to know them already through their past movies and kind of know what they're like. We know that like Seth Rogen is like well-intentioned, kind of idiotic, selfish guy. Like I guess that's like always his character who likes weed too much.
He's like a Homer Simpson pothead.
Right, exactly. And the self-referential humor to making a sequel to Pineapple Express.
Yeah, I really like how they re-recorded like movie trailers where like their sequel.
To pass the time.
What was it, Pineapple Express and The Exorcist?
Yeah, they did that, and it worked for some reason.
I really liked it.
I enjoyed it too. I do like the callback to their own movies, though, because it makes it more relatable almost. Because like, oh yeah, I saw them in that, and now I'm kind of seeing behind the scenes, but I also know it's fake. I love the fact that Jonah Hill played Woody Harrelson. Like, all the other actors were themselves, except for him.
I like how
what was the plot of Pineapple Express 2 again? Like Woody Harrelson is going to make all weed legal, and Danny McBride is going to kill them because he has
it's going to script the competition.
Yeah. As a drug lord, all of a sudden he'll be out of the game.
Now I have a point. I've been wanting to bring up. Have any of you seen the trailer for The World's End?
No.
The new Edgar Wright movie.
No.
With Nick Frost and Simon Pegg and Martin, the guy who played the Hobbit.
Oh wait, I think I have. Yes.
Whereas they go on the pub crawl and everyone turns out to be. It's kind of like Stepford Wives, where everyone in the town is replaced by robots.
Okay.
And they try to go on this pub crawl, but everyone's a robot trying to stop them.
Okay. Like kill them, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, do you think it? I mean, it's movies. You always see this movies that are very similar come out around the same time. I think World's End is coming out end of July, early August.
That's true. Okay. Even World War Z, which we did the other day, like also pandemic sort of world coming to an end.
Which, by the way, everyone is sucking the dick in that movie. Have you seen like all the commercials, like all the
No, World War Z.
Yeah.
I was at a friend's house last night, and I was talking to some people about World War Z.
And they liked it?
I know a lot of people.
No, they didn't like it. They didn't like
good.
it. And
I mean, I kind of like the conclusion we came to last week that it's, even though none of us enjoyed it, it's definitely not like any other movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And don't mean like saying that sarcastic and shitty. Like it's not like anything I've ever seen. Like no, it's unique. It was different. But yeah, you were saying that like a lot of the same sort of films.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's definitely true. I remember like in like, I guess it would be like 97, 98 was like the summer of aliens. Like all of a sudden there were alien movies, or at least like 2 years.
Independence Day.
It felt Independence Day, which I feel we have to say every podcast.
Well, actually,
in the contract
you know what we're gonna have to do, and not to pull too far away now, is Independence Day 2 it's greenlit.
Yeah, but none of the good people are coming back though.
Oh,
right.
You care so much about the fucking movie Independence Day. You like sucking Independence Day dick. But now that the second one is coming back with fucking Bill Pullman, and I think Jeff Goldblum might be coming back.
Well, if Goldblum's in, I'm in, obviously.
I think Goldblum is coming back.
Okay.
And it's just like, you're like, oh, nobody's
Okay,
going to come
I
back.
thought that nobody was coming back, though.
Will Smith isn't coming back.
Just Will Smith?
For now, I think so, yeah.
Like, if they get fucking, like, Judd Hirsch to come back and Jeff Goldblum.
Could be good.
Isn't Judd Hirsch dead, though?
No.
Wait, who did he play?
In the movie he is, right?
Yeah.
No, he's not even dead in the movie.
Wait, who did he play in the movie?
He played Jeff Goldblum's dad.
Okay. I thought you were talking
That's
about the
his name,
fighter
right?
pilot.
Judd Hirsch?
I think
so.
Am I confusing him with someone?
But that summer there was like a lot of alien movies.
Yeah.
No, that summer
it was like a 2-year stretch. I feel like it was like a phase. It was like that was where Mars Attacks was coming out, Men in Black.
Yeah.
Cable Guy.
Jim Carrey's comedy is so out of this world. I just kind of roofed him in there.
But yeah, I mean, I thought.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
To bring it back all into This Is the End. I mean, it's just what movie is. I mean, let's take aside away the zombie. Let's take away World War Z.
Okay.
What other movie is kind of going to be similar to it this summer? I mean, The World's End for me, at least, when it comes out finally. That's the movie that's looking the closest to it, and movie things always come in twos,
Right. I'd be curious to see what comes out. I mean, that does seem even the title sounds the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
this is the end, the world's end.
yeah, World War Z. It's all
War
connected.
Z.
I really enjoyed Emma Watson's cameo. I thought
she was great.
Yeah, and I also think I'm in love with her, so maybe that's why I'm saying that. But I think there were also like other little fun cameos. I liked Rihanna's cameo. I liked that it was like clearly like actors that you would expect to be in this kind of clique. And
Yeah.
it's just like let's
Slap
get
the shit out.
Rihanna in there. Like you
Yeah.
can tell they just like kind of reached out to her and threw her in there.
I feel like the movie could have used a little more Jason Segel.
Yeah, I think it could have used more celebrity deaths at the beginning. I think it could have
I
been
loved Aziz
more.
Ansari.
I thought that was
Yeah.
great. I like the moment where Craig T like totally blows them off, and as soon as they get inside and they're kind of having that moment where they're coping with the disaster, he's like, "I tried to save Aziz." He's just lying, like crying. I like
Too late,
like
you're in the hole.
Yeah, like arms coming off and stuff like that. They had like the standard crew that you see in all this
Apatow
kind of
movies.
like the guys from 40-Year-Old Virgin.
But you haven't really
Paul
seen
Rudd.
you haven't seen Craig Robinson in a lot of that stuff. I mean, Pineapple Express was his first one,
right.
and I thought he was great in that.
See, that's a movie I really enjoyed. It's almost like this movie took the last, because Pineapple Express is pretty much kind of chase, cat and mouse chase with these two stoner dudes. It's almost like the Cheech and Chong of our generation sort of idea. And then at the end, it's just like fucking crazy violence.
Yeah.
So it's almost
But
like
awesome.
Yeah, it's like, and they took that last chunk and decided to just make it a whole film almost, and invite all their friends in, and that's kind of the feel I got of this film.
Yeah, but there wasn't much. I wouldn't say there was a lot of like hyper violence.
Well,
in this
you
movie.
got people like limbs coming off and people being decapitated.
And they-
I guess
them
so.
like stepping on the head and like the eyeballs popping out everywhere. You know what I mean? And then a lot of like blood slapstick.
Yeah.
They killed that old lady in the convenience store when it first started too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And then just flew on top of her.
Yeah, and I actually kind of like the action sequences, especially at the very beginning when they're in the convenience store. I like the storekeeper, getting crushed out of
Yeah.
nowhere because you're not expecting
Blood's just everywhere.
Yeah,
It's great.
Yeah, they did a good job. I felt.
Do you guys think the movie was mismarketed at all? At first I thought it was Aliens. I thought it was going to be an alien.
Well,
That's
because
what
you
I
saw the
thought at
blue
first, too.
beams,
Yeah.
but I think you're not supposed to know, and that's the whole reveal deal. He's like, I think this is like the Bible, which I thought was pretty funny.
that was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have and I like how it addresses that it's one of those films where it's almost like watching Always Sunny or Seinfeld or something like that, where it's like all the protagonists are kind of human garbage, but you kind of like them anyway.
They're
and
narcissistic.
like towing that line.
and-
Yeah, well, like it's like, oh, they realize it's like this might be the Bible sort of thing, and Craig T. Robinson kind of realizes it, and him and Jay are like, okay, so we have to be like better people together. And then the other one's like, see, this is like a way to like they're like stabbing them in the back, so they have to get back at them at that. I like that element, and then I also like how Jonah Hill like doesn't understand. He's like, hey God, it's me, Jonah Hill from like Moneyball. Like,
that was really good.
Yeah, and he's just like, can you like please kill Jay? Like, you can just, like wants him to get murdered.
I like that because I feel like in that group, that's how. Like, I read an interesting article about Jonah Hill and how he always plays an asshole character in his movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 40-Year-Old Virgin. He's that guy at the convenience, the boot guy at the eBay store. He goes, "Can I buy these?"
Yeah, he has two things. Yeah, he's either like the dick sort of guy who's like busting everyone's, pushing everyone's buttons, or he's like creepy obsessed with someone, like which he kind of did in this movie. And like if you think of like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, he's obsessed with Russell Brand's character.
Yeah, but he's also kind of a dick to everyone else around him.
Right.
And then in Moneyball, he's like a little more hardcore, like. You know, I'm just gonna
book smart guy.
Yeah.
He was nominated for an Oscar for that film, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
That was pretty good, though,
Wolf of Wall Street too. Now, I mean,
That looks
when did
epic.
Wolf of Wall Street looks really good? But when did Jonah Hill
That's
just like
odd. We should all see that because it looks like shit to me.
Really?
Yeah, personally, I was just like, oh man, it's just
Ooh.
Scorsese is becoming like this one weirdo. I feel like, but that's my opinion. Anyway,
But I mean,
for
it's
another
like-
podcast.
It's when did Jonah Hill just take the turn into this real serious? Was it with Cyrus?
I don't know. I think people just started to realize. I guess he must be fun to work with, and they like his like kind of off-color look, and he's kind of like sympathetic looking.
Maybe I should.
I mean, I'm just assuming like Hollywood's all about look because I really think it is. But
Yeah.
well, yeah, of course it
I
is.
mean,
Cyrus was awesome.
But maybe
Cyrus was great.
Maybe I should like in that South Park episode. I should have like my calves cut off and my legs shortened, gain like 50 pounds, and my hair out and become the next Jonah Hill.
you could just go for it. But now he's like skinny, so
So I could just replace the old Jonah Hill.
okay.
He got a little He's a little huskier this time.
Yeah.
In this movie, though.
I think I like how they maintain kind of the characters they've played in other films, but they definitely branched out a little bit because I was going in just like, oh, is Jonah Hill going to be like fat, and that's why it's funny, and like Seth Rogen's high, and like that's like the whole
Craig T. Robinson had that the washcloth
the whole time. It just said Robinson.
Time.
Yeah, it's like he's like a bartender or something for the group.
That?
I don't know. I love how it's like it was probably littered with inside jokes that like we don't get, but you laugh at anyway because you know there's something there.
I even noticed like 3/4 movie. Allie like leaned over and she's like, "Why is he still laughing?"
Yeah, I have a feeling that it's like if you're in a group of friends, like it depends what type of people you hang out with. I assume if you're still listening to this podcast, you kind of like people who like joke a minute sort of personalities when they hang out.
But that's the thing; it wasn't joke a minute. For the first, I would say half an hour. It was like joke a minute, joke a minute,
but not the movie, but like people like that.
Oh,
like, if
yeah,
you hang
yeah.
out with people like that, people are constantly busting each other's balls. Like I think you'll enjoy this because you kind of get a sense that you're in on like that on a Hollywood level or something. Which it kind of is wish fulfillment. You know, it's like it's like I'm hanging out with these guys and I kind of know their dynamic. You don't think so?
I mean, it's just like I get it. I just sometimes, you know what it is? I always find myself, because I'm more of a technical guy on movie stuff, and it's just like I always find it hard to suspend disbelief sometimes, because it's
you don't think that's them all just busting each other's balls though?
What?
You don't think that the whole script basically was just them all busting?
Oh yeah, it was.
There's
Yeah, it
clearly
was
a lot of improv.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what I
there
mean.
was.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, then I got confused. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Fuck
yeah,
me.
it's hard to suspend your disbelief when it's like people getting raped by like CGI demon dicks. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I know that's not really happening.
Yeah. No shit.
I'm not that invested in the film. You know what I mean? I'm not like, oh fuck the demon. It's like, oh, this is gonna be funny when he gets raped by the demon.
I'm not on my game. I didn't get my cowboy burger today. I didn't get my glass of whiskey today. I'm off my game.
I
I'm
have
off
something in
footing.
the kitchen if you want.
What?
You gotta check your blood sugar levels, man. We're gonna take a break so John can take care of that. And
Get some alcohol in the system. Maybe.
yeah, there we go. We'll do some of that too. Balances it out. You know what I mean? We'll get some salt in there.
It's fuel for my brain.
It is. Booze is good for your brain. This break is good for this podcast. We'll be right back.
Bye.
We're wrapping up here on Movie Monday.
Dwight Howard shoulders.
Yeah, we just learned about Dwight Howard being.
I just told Pete that Dwight Howard. It's just coming across the newswire that Dwight Howard is signing with the Houston Rockets. We're like, oh, it's crazy. Pete goes,
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Pete goes, oh, he's got such big shoulders.
He really does. They're it looks like he's wearing armor like at all times. It's insane.
Oh my god.
That's wish fulfillment, full circle. So, what I want to ask you guys as we wrap it up here, we'll take a trip down memory lane with this particular group of actors and writers. I don't know, in this whole Apatow clique sort of thing, what's your favorite movie? And then how has it strayed into what we just saw?
I'd have to say my favorite Apatow movie is actually, I'm going to throw this back at you, Heavyweights.
Okay.
It's my favorite Apatow movie. John, if you say one bad word about Heavyweights, I might kick you out of my house.
I never said that. Don't kick me out of your house.
I just got the head shake. I don't know. That was the ID4 head shake. I got nervous.
We get a lot of discerning looks, John.
because all you fucking drew is and listen, not to shit on your preference, but you're like one of those guys who's like, I like Stand By Me and Sandlot and Heavyweights.
But I do.
Like, do you like fucking George of the Jungle too?
No, I don't like George of the
I saw
Jungle.
that in theaters.
Oh Jesus,
Brendan Fraser.
I
Man.
like the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
with the fucking well, you know that was his most profitable movie ever.
I can believe it.
I guess that makes sense.
He shaves the
But what
beard,
it-
that
what-
shit goes back. That's gold.
What are some other movies from
probably
like the
pulled those out.
'90s?
That was the 90s.
Heavy. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like.
Oh, that wasn't from the 90s? I'm sure the 90s were awesome, John.
Heavyweights, Sandlot, Stand By Me.
Anyone who likes Heavyweights should message in and tell John why he's such a piece of shit.
No, I never said I hate heavyweights, but listen.
Everyone should come should message why John should like the 90s.
Message
more.
me at John Moramis
I'm
at.
not a huge fan of the 90s, but I'm willing to hear John out. I kind of know what you mean, John. I mean, I love Heavyweights. Like,
Yeah, Heavyweights is a great movie.
I know what you mean. It's like you meet like a lot of people, and like their happiness makes you angry. It's like when people like I see a lot of people watching like a Dave Matthews Band like concert, and they're like, "Oh man, like I love Dave," and they're happy. And there are other people who are like have the same interests as
Well,
them,
you know who you
but
should
it gets me like fucking angry.
You know who you should fucking beat? Guess who was at a Dave Matthews concert
last weekend?
Yeah,
while
sure you did.
we were eating Kobe beef and ostrich.
That's true.
I would rather have been at the Dave concert.
Yeah, but then you meet people who also is like, "Oh, I love Kobe beef and ostrich," and you're like, "Oh, I hate you."
While
But
you're
being so happy.
while you're eating an ostrich.
You're also like, I guess it's the last time I'm doing this shit.
You're also thinking of the Dave Matthews fans that are like, oh, I love Crash. Like I actually like enjoy the music.
I don't get
As long
Dave
as it's not the
Matthews.
film Crash. We should have a movie Monday one day. Well, let's talk about how
why
that's
don't
the
you like
word.
about Crash?
What?
I'm not like a giant fan of Crash. But
Oh,
why
I
don't
hate
you-
it.
Why? Why do you hate
Oh,
it?
we'll talk about this another time.
Okay.
Seriously,
Yeah,
no, we can.
we gotta wrap up.
We can talk about Crash in What's Up Wednesday. Even I can
Okay,
rant about how
We-
I don't like Crash. I can rant about the Academy Awards for ages. Anyway, though, so you're going, just bringing it back here, Drew. You said Heavyweights.
I just like Heavyweights. It makes me happy.
I never said Heavyweights was a bad movie.
But that's more pure Apatow. Let's talk more of this group. Like, you know what I
this
mean? Because
group.
Apatow, I think, was only mildly involved with this.
So, I actually really enjoyed Funny People.
Okay.
If
It's long, but I
that's
agree. It
the
has its
thing.
moments.
If it had been shorter, I would definitely say it's my favorite. Just like
Yeah.
story wise, acting wise, character wise, I thought it was the most complete of
Right.
his flicks.
Now, it's weird. Now, having seen Funny People then and then, like, seeing This Is the End now, like, do you think there was, like, a gradual transition into what these characters and people have become?
I really think they just were like,
or it's just, like, could have that come out, This Is the End, have come out right after that, and it would have made sense.
I think
like,
it would,
culturally.
I think it would have made sense.
Yeah.
I think it's better than it came out now, like a little bit later. But
Yeah.
they could have still
It's kind
done
of like
it.
that tone we were talking about earlier, where it seems like you're just like kind of hanging out with these guys. It's
Yeah.
kind of like those little improv jabs they take at each other. It's like that was not planned. They're just like
No.
shitting around.
Well, and those guys were all fairly pretty established,
Right.
at that point.
Well, it's
you
just
know.
them shooting a movie that they just. It seems like they all got together and said, "What kind of movie do we just want to shoot?" Because you get one of those Apatow movies every so often now. It's like every other. It's like bi-yearly now. You get an Apatow movie. Where it was this year, it was
Yeah.
This Is 40. And
Oh Jesus Christ! That movie.
See, that one,
I heard it wasn't
I feel
as
like
good.
that's become more Apatow, and now this is more just like Seth Rogen, like in his crew. Because when you watch like an Apatow one, I feel like it is like it's more like Funny People. Like
Yeah.
it's more like
Is it solely Seth's crew?
insightful. It's more like I think so. I didn't see anything Apatow because I know Seth Rogen directed it,
With
produced.
Evan Mill,
Yeah,
not Evan Mill.
Evan Goldberg.
Evan Goldberg.
Evan Goldberg. That's it. I don't know. I think the one that kind of put this whole crew though in a way on the map, and also Apatow in a way that brought him back was 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
seems
that
to
was-
be like the one that put it back, and that's my favorite personally. Even though it is basically a chick flick for men, but
It's
littered with
really,
really good
a
jokes.
great chick flick for men.
Yeah, the best
fl-
one I would argue if they're on the countless list.
I mean, I would say I really do like Pineapple Express.
Me too. I really enjoyed it.
Um,
Especially, I could see that for you, especially because as a gamer, that end kind of had that sort of element. It felt like it was like two stoners playing a video game in a weird way because it was like that moment. It's like, oh crap, I'm out of ammo. Me too. It's like, oh sweet. They just like pick up like two more that are like full, you know?
I mean, I never thought about it that way, but I mean, I think Pineapple Express is just random enough and weird enough for me to be like, this is really just off
Right.
the beaten path, kind of. Because, you know, we have the Cheech and Chong movies, but they were never like that.
No, it was just like the only parallel there was just like the
They were
stoner
stoners,
thing.
yeah. But I mean, you know, I have a little bit of a crush on James Franco. I think he's really.
You should take his class.
I know. Yeah, if I can get into fucking NYU.
Just keep believing, John.
I know.
You could do anything you said.
It's kind of weird the parallel you were saying earlier too. How certain movies come out at a certain time. It's almost like Pineapple Express was their answer to Hot Fuss, or vice versa.
Hot Fuzz, yeah.
Fuzz, Hot Fuss is like an album by the Killers, featuring songs such as "Jenny Was a Friend of Mine" and "Mr. Brightside."
But yeah, I mean, Pineapple Express was after Hot Fuzz. It was
Yeah,
about a
but
year.
it's like they kind of like keep in
a
touch.
year,
It's like,
yeah.
It's almost like I feel like they are subconsciously influenced by each other.
Well, maybe it's just Edgar Wright and this
Yeah.
whole Seth Rogen crew.
Maybe it's something to keep an eye on, though. Maybe it's like they'll just keep doing this, and then once we see the first crossover, they'll be interesting.
It's like the British and American version.
Yeah, exactly.
So, But I mean, like I was saying, I think Pineapple Express really.
Yeah, and this one, like when you see this in the fact that there's like a callback to it, it's like, all right, you could tell they had fun going in that direction with that film. It's like kind of them just going deeper down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, and I think the TV shows Undeclared and Freaks and Geeks really. I really think Linda Cardellini wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, for like a hot second.
Yeah.
And then she died like everyone else.
She should. I think she should have been in it a little bit more because it's like all these people who know each other, and the only.
And when Emma Watson came back, I was hoping for her to be in it like longer, like all the people they keep bringing back.
Who's gonna rape me?
Yeah, that was great.
That was a really great scene.
Yeah, if you like rape jokes, see the film.
We don't condone it here at the Midnight Radio Show.
Nor do they in the film, but they do explore the fact that it can be a funny joke about if put in the right context. And if a woman as revered and classy as Emma Watson is down with it, I think we all should be. I definitely recommend the film.
Most definitely.
I give it a thumbs up. Definitely
check it out.
Check out Freaks and Geeks and Undeclared if you like that kind of style of humor.
See where they started. By all means, you'll see a lot of those same faces, except like 17 years younger.
Yeah.
All right, guys. This has been Movie Monday. We will see you next week. Have an awesome, hot, supposed to be really hot week.
TTF.
Stay cool, guys.
Yep.
See you in the movies.